is a lecture. Hello students, good afternoon to all of you. So today is a lecture which is based on a topic which students always demand for the NET exam and for your knowledge sake also. And the topic is the new criticism. The new criticism. What happened? What are the reasons of this rise of new criticism, students? So just understand it too well, because this comes under the section of 20th century criticism. And this term, new criticism, was first used by Joel E. Spingarn. Joel E. Spingarn. This question was asked many times. So this term, new criticism, was first used by Joel E. Spingarn. And while he was addressing at a university at Columbia, and the topic was the new criticism. And so it can be understood, it can be regarded as the manifesto of the new criticism. जबकि ये जो कॉइन किया, जो यूज किया, वो इन्होंने किया, और जब टर्म आ गया तो इसका जो जनरल यूज था वो यूज किया आफ्टर द नेम जॉन क्रो रैंसम. This term came into general use after John Crow Ransom, who is a great American critic. He published his The New Criticism in 1941, where he studied four great contemporary critics, and Ransom is considered to be a key figure in this movement of the new criticism. And we can say that the movement has been very much noticeable for a lot of ideas which were very novel, and some of the basic views of new criticism can also be traced back to Coleridge. And apart from John Crow Ransom, there are great names like I.A. Richards, Blackmore, Kenneth Brooks, William Emerson, Alan Tate, T.S. Eliot, Robert Penn Warren. These are some of the other practitioners, well-known name of this school of criticism. And you must also know that कौन से ऐसे कारण थे, कौन से ऐसे फैक्टर्स थे, कौन से ऐसे रीजन थे जिसके वजह से न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म काफी बढ़ा, इसका राइज हुआ. सबसे पहले न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म जो राइज किया है उसका रीजन है ऑल ओवर पीपल हु वर डिससैटिस्फाइड. डिससैटिस्फैक्शन ऑल ओवर, चाहे वो इंग्लैंड हो, चाहे वो अमेरिका हो, with the situation, with the contemporary literary situation. And apart from this, you will also find a lot of significant changes in the social circle, and a lot of scientific developments, and lot of things which were old fashioned, they were basically considered to be obstacles, रुकावट आ रहे थे in the way of the critical development, the literary development. And writers, they always wished to have a very positive aptitude approach to all the literary problems. And so we can say that बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉट ऑफ डिससैटिस्फैक्शंस, जब हमारे को किसी भी चीज से डिससैटिस्फैक्शन होता है तो हम क्या करते हैं अपने नॉर्मल लाइफ में, हम कुछ और ऑप्शंस ढूंढते हैं, और चीजें देखते हैं, और नई नई चीजों की तरफ सोचते हैं कि अरे इससे मजा नहीं आ रहा, चलो ये देखते हैं. एंड बिकॉज दीज पीपल वर डिससेटिस्फाइड इन इंग्लैंड, अमेरिका, सो नेचुरली क्या हुआ, दे स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग ऑन द न्यू पोर्टफोलियोज. एंड यही रीजन था कि द सीड ऑफ न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म was to be came. Yes, the class has started, Saman. I think uh, you must be able to see me. The students are here and I think everything is fine. अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो तो बताइएगा. Now, इसमें एक टर्म है, हमारे स्टडी मटेरियल में भी आप देख सकते हैं, वो टर्म मैंने इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म्स की फाइल में लिखा होगा, इमेजिज्म. इमेजिज्म, और वी कैन से इनके जो डिफेंडर्स थे क्रिटिकल, उन्होंने भी रास्ता बनाया फॉर द राइज ऑफ द न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म. एंड one of the most important name, if imagism is concerned as a movement, then the name is T.A. P.E. Hume. बड़ा प्रोमिनेंट नाम है एग्जाम के लिए. इनकी एक वर्क थी जिसका नाम था स्पेकुलेशंस. स्पेकुलेशंस. This has been considered as one of the most important collection or document in modern critics. And apart from T.E. Hume, Ezra Pound also emphasized formalistic study of poetry, and he wrote a letter to Harriet Monroe in 1912, where he insisted that American poets must look at poetry as an art whose techniques are constantly developing, and must study these aspects of poetry if they expect that their craft should grow, or if their craft has to survive. Okay, students? So ये बहुत शॉर्ट में, प्रिसाइज में हम आपको बहुत सिंपल तरीके से बता रहे हैं. अदरवाइज ये तो बहुत लंबा चैप्टर है और बहुत इसके अंदर मैटर है. बट आई एम गिविंग यू अ वेरी नेट एसेंट्रिक लेक्चर. Now we will talk about the new critics. न्यू क्रिटिक्स कौन थे? इन्होंने बहुत वैल्यूबल वर्क किया है और बहुत जबरदस्त कंट्रीब्यूशन किया है इन द फील्ड ऑफ लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म. एंड वी कैन से दैट टू द न्यू क्रिटिक्स के लिए एक पोएम हो या एक वर्क ऑफ आर्ट हो, इज इन इटसेल्फ अ थिंग. वो अपने आप में एक चीज है. एंड ऑलवेज द क्रिटिक्स मस्ट not forget that they have to give all the attention to it so that it may give that energy, that illumination, that that power. And the function of the critic is to, I had told you in the first lecture, is to interpret and evaluate a work of art. A poem is undoubtedly different from the poet and the social surroundings, and it is in itself a definite entity. So, the critic must devote himself to a very close textual study without any concerns from the outside world. I am sure you must be able to understand. बहुत सिंपल तरीके से मैं समझा रहा हूं, कोई दिक्कत होगी तो मुझसे आप पूछ लीजिएगा. Next point, we can say that the critic should be a person who will not allow himself at all, or we can say he should not be biased, he should not be prejudiced by any literary theories. क्योंकि अगर हम प्रेजुडिस हो जाएंगे तो हमारा जो वर्क ऑफ आर्ट है वो कहीं ना कहीं से हैम्पर करेगा और गलत हो जाएगा. एंड जो पोएम होती है उसके अंदर एक फॉर्म भी होता है, कंटेंट भी होता है, एंड द फॉर्म एंड द कंटेंट both has to have a close study and analysis before giving any understanding, before giving any meaning, or to understand it better in a very positive approach. We have to also study the rhythm of the poem, the imageries, the mood, the words, the meter, and all certain things which actually constitute the form of poetry has to be studied. So we can say that this poem or that poem is an organic whole, and these different parts, and what are these different parts? Words, images, emotions, rhythm, meter, etc., are undoubtedly interconnected with each other, and they react upon one another, and finally when we follow it, the total meaning comes out, and then we have to examine. So when we study the arrangement of the words, how they are acting, how they are reacting upon other, their significance, how they sometimes become emotional, how they become, the words carry some symbolic significance, they actually carry out the total meaning with all these paraphernalias. And yes, the new critics, when they scrutinize anything, when they scrutinize the structure of poetry, thereby coming with a lot of theories. If you remember I.A. Richards' concept of the behavior of words, then you must not forget William Emerson's 7 types of ambiguity, 7 categories of ambiguity, and their subdivisions also. Then John Crow Ransom's principle of texture, Texture, and Robert Penn Warren's preoccupation with symbols, Ellen Tate's theory of tensions. With all these theories of these prominent names, we actually find searching for the meaning of words, and the transformation which we find, which we undergo, which react on one another, and then finally these all things contribute to build up a beautiful structure of the poem, जिसको कहते हैं the unified whole. इतने सारे parts बन करके तब वो unified whole बना है. And yes, poetry is something which can be communicated with language, a means of communication, and these new critics, they were actually trying to understand the full meaning of the poem through a study of the poetic language. So this was important. And they concentrated on the close textual studies, as I have just told you few minutes before, how the poem is formed, what is the design, what is the structure of the poem, what is the texture of the poem, and the psychological state of the poet at the time when he is creating that work of art, and the effect of the poem upon the readers. हम जब लिख रहे थे तो उस समय हमारा दिमाग कैसा था, और जब हमने लिख दिया, जब वो रीडर्स के पास गया, उस पोएम का क्या इफेक्ट हुआ रीडर्स के ऊपर. दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एक नाम है, कई बार नेट में आ चुका है, विमसत एंड ब्रुक. उन्होंने एक बुक लिखा था जिसका नाम है द वर्बल आइकॉन. ये नेट में पूछा भी गया है. विमसत एंड ब्रुक, द वर्बल आइकॉन. इसमें इन्होंने यह बताया है कि a poem should not mean but be. A poem can be only through its meaning, क्योंकि उसकी जो मीडियम ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन is words, yet it is simply in the sense that we have no excuse for inquiring what part is intended or meant. So ये विमसत ने लिखा था अपनी बुक में द वर्बल आइकॉन. नाउ एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्रिटिक और एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पहलू है 20th सेंचुरी क्रिटिसिज्म का. आपने पढ़ा होगा एमए फाइनल्स में. इस पे बहुत क्वेश्चंस आते रहे हैं हमेशा. द शिकागो क्रिटिक्स. इन लोगों ने जो अभी तक हमने न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म पढ़ा है उस पे अटैक किया है. मींस कि द न्यू क्रिटिक्स had a lot of limitations which were taken out, which was taken into consideration, and by whom? By a group of critics who came to be known as the Chicago critics. And why they are known as Chicago critics? Because all these people, they all worked at the University of Chicago, and they formed a group. And the group where you will find little difference in their views and their critical methods. This was good enough. And the most important member of this group is, now I will ask you questions, students. कौन हमको बताएगा कि शिकागो क्रिटिक्स का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट मेंबर इस ग्रुप का कौन था? उसका नाम बताइए. यू हैव 15 seconds फ्रॉम नाउ. I am waiting for your best students. The most important member of the Chicago critics group is yes, it is Ronald Crane. And in between, I would also like to share something to all of you students. One of our student, Ranju from Kerala, she has qualified Kerala state eligibility test in her first attempt while she was in our classes. and she's thankful to OSN Academy, and I congratulate her on behalf of OSN Academy and all my students that she has qualified in the first attempt. And God bless you, Renju. And I'm sure that a lot many things will add to the feather of your life under my guidance, and you will also qualify in it this June. God bless you. So, the most important member of this Chicago Critics group is Ronald Crane. Together, this group published its views. इस ग्रुप ने अपने व्यूज को पब्लिश किया एक वॉल्यूम ऑफ एसेज में, और ये बहुत ही ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. आप पेपर्स में देखिएगा, आपको ये मिलेगा. और उस वॉल्यूम ऑफ एसे का नाम है, हु कैन टेल मी? क्या मैं 10 सेकंड इंतजार करके ये देखूं कि आप कितनों को पता है ये वर्क का नाम? हमारे स्टडी मटेरियल में भी होगा, है ही बल्कि. द नेम ऑफ द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द एसेज का क्या नाम है, विच इज कंपाइल्ड बाय द ग्रुप ऑफ दीज शिकागो क्रिटिक्स, और उनके व्यूज थे उसमें. 1952 का है. और ये जो वॉल्यूम है ये क्या स्टडी कर रही है? दिस वॉल्यूम इज स्टडीइंग द लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म एंड द इंटरप्रिटेशन एंड इवन द इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ द लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म. चीफली, मतलब ये जो वर्क है ये चीफली कंसर्न विद द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म. आपने ध्यान दिया मैंने क्या बोला? जो ये वॉल्यूम ऑफ एसेज है, इस वर्क का मेन काम क्या है? इस वर्क का मेन कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, मेन कंसर्न क्या है? द मेन कंसर्न इज विद द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म. यस श्रेया, करेक्ट. द नेम ऑफ द वॉल्यूम ऑफ एसेज इज क्रिटिक्स एंड क्रिटिसिज्म. Critics and criticism. Then we can say that these Chicago critics, they were exploring all the various methods, the ways of the understanding of the literary criticism, and they were much concerned with the literary tradition. They worked with a lot of pains and emphasized the value of tradition. Moreover, when you evaluate the work of the Chicago critics, जॉर्ज वॉटसन ने अपनी एक बुक है, उसका नाम है लिटरेरी क्रिटिक्स. उसमें लिखा है, क्या लिखा है? कि द रियल मेरिट्स ऑफ द स्कूल. कौन सा स्कूल? न्यू क्रिटिक्स. द रियल मेरिट्स ऑफ द स्कूल, न्यू क्रिटिक्स स्कूल, आर नॉट टू बी स्टडीड इन इट्स अटेम्प्ट्स टू थियोराइज. इट इज pragmatic and particular, a way of teaching rather than a formal doctrine, and based upon an urgent impatience and academician rather than upon any coherent principle. So, a reaction was already forming under the leadership of Ronald S. Crane in the late 30s in the Chicago School of Neo-Aristotelians. And R.S. Crane, who is one of the most influential critic of the Chicago group, has considered in details about the views on the functions and the methods of criticism. But apart from each and everything which has been discussed about the movement, new criticism, Chicago critics, etc., etc., there are certain shortcomings, there are certain limitations of the new critics, which has been brought out by no other but Chicago Group. And what are those shortcomings? According to the Chicago Group, and the same which I had taught you few minutes before. And what is that? The new critics have been very much preoccupied with the textual analysis, excessive occupation occupied with images, paradoxes, words, irony, जिससे वो ये भूल जाते थे that the poem is an organic whole, and in their preoccupation with the parts, different, they actually ignored the beauty of the whole. So this is a shortcoming or a limitation as studied by the Chicago critics for the new critics. And the other point which they have given, the limitations, is that the new critics का जो अप्रोच है वो बहुत नैरो है, and it is through the textual study and the analysis that truth can be arrived. But there are number of other approaches, the historical approach, the sociological approach, the psychological approach, और हर अप्रोच की अपनी वैल्यू है और उसका अपना सिग्निफिकेंस है. So हमें केवल एक अप्रोच में नहीं रहना चाहिए. All possible approaches should be tried to arrive at the full truth about a poem. But these new critics did not do this thing according to the Chicago critics. Clear? देखिए, इससे बहुत कंसेप्ट आपका क्लियर होगा, बहुत समझ में फर्क आएगा कि आप कभी भी बोल सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं, और बहुत टीडियस क्वेश्चंस आते हैं नेट में जिसमें समझना पड़ता है, और जब आपका कंसेप्ट क्लियर होगा तो आप इमीडिएटली आंसर कर लोगे. एक और पॉइंट है लिमिटेशन का, शॉर्टकमिंग का, जो कि शिकागो क्रिटिक्स ने कहा है इनके बारे में, और यह कहा है कि कोई भी एक वर्क ऑफ आर्ट है, एनी वर्क ऑफ आर्ट, उसके दो फंक्शंस होते हैं. एक होता है एस्थेटिक और एक होता है मॉरल. एनी वर्क ऑफ आर्ट, देयर आर टू फंक्शंस, aesthetic and moral. Clear? While the older criticism erred in its overemphasis on the moral concern of the nature of literature, the new critics go to the other extreme in their entire neglect of it. So उनका ये कहना है कि जो कला है, जो आर्ट है, उसको आप अलग नहीं कर सकते हैं entirely from life, जो कि ये लोग कर देते थे. ठीक है? तो ये बहुत बड़े एस्टैब्लिश्ड पॉइंट्स हैं जो आपके कंसेप्ट को बहुत क्लियर करते हैं माइंड से. बहुत डिटेल में तो जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, इसमें इतना ही कंसेप्ट काफी है. अब हम लोग पढ़ेंगे, यहां तक किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो पूछ ले. So द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म, जो मैंने आपको बताया यही तो सारी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है निसर्गा. ऑल दोज पॉइंट्स विच आई हैव जस्ट एक्सप्लेन्ड यू कि ये न्यू क्रिटिक्स ऐसा करते थे, ऐसा करते थे, ऐसा करते थे, इनको ऐसा करना चाहिए, इनको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, यही तो सारी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं इनकी, जो कि शिकागो क्रिटिक्स ने कहा कि इनको ऐसा भी करना चाहिए था जो ऐसा नहीं करते. तो ये हो गया लिमिटेशंस. बाकी जो मैंने चीजें बताई आपको, देर आर ऑल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. नाउ वी विल कम अ लिटिल बिफोर, कि हमने पहले आपको आगे की चीजें पढ़ा दी, दैट इज द शिकागो क्रिटिक्स एंड द न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म. इससे काफी पहले एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्रिटिसिज्म का पार्ट है जिसको कहते हैं नियो क्लासिक criticism. And this neoclassic criticism is known, acknowledged by a great name known as Dr. Samuel Johnson. डॉक्टर सैमुअल जॉनसन, जिसके बारे में हम लोग ने ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर में बहुत कुछ पढ़ा है, बट हियर इट इज अ डिफरेंट thing, that is we are now going to be discovering the new classic criticism, because he was a great learner, great learned man. And the neoclassical or the neoclassic school, basically the later half of the 18th century, the neoclassical trends, and after that the rise of the romanticism. And yes, don't forget that the literature of the age of the neoclassic period, or Samuel Johnson, Dr. Samuel Johnson, it is known for its conflict between the two main factors, that is unimpassioned reason, and on the other side emotion and imagination. And what was dominating? Undoubtedly reason was dominating. After 1660, that is the middle of the 17th century, it was so powerful that it swayed away the total emotional and the imaginative appeal. उसको पूरी तरीके से repress कर दिया. The spontaneous overflow of the powerful feelings, though it is for Wordsworth, लेकिन I'm just using this phrase because the same thing was with the Elizabethans, which could not be seen. The expression of the feelings, personal feelings, emotional, वो अब हम उसको बहुत अच्छी निगाहों से नहीं देखते थे. लेकिन जो ये रोमांटिक स्पिरिट थी, जो कि कभी बुझ नहीं सकती, ये धीरे 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 कहीं न कहीं पोएटिक आर्ट में अपनी जगह बना रही थी. And so in the last of the 18th century, 1798, the lyrical ballads era, एक फिर से नया एरा दिखाई पड़ा. And that era was actually free from the restraints of common sense. Got my point? So we can emphatically say that the age of Dr. Samuel Johnson has witnessed two main types of criticism, one representing the old and the other having the new outlook. And as we have already studied the period of transition, the time of Dr. Johnson is characterized by a good deal of compromise, and the two prevalent influences sometimes overlap and even penetrate into one another, which also I have taught you very recently, or even when I was taking the proper British literature. So I'm sure you must have understood very clearly what I try to give you in this chapter, in the nucleus classical criticism. And in this unit, in this chapter, the main focus is with Dr. Johnson and his criticism works. He was undoubtedly a prolific writer whose acclaim, whose name chiefly rests on preface to the Dictionary of the English Language, preface to Shakespeare, and lives of the poets. And he even contributed a lot many essays and articles to his own pamphlet known as a Rambler. It was not a pamphlet, it was a periodical, like Tatler Spectator, a periodical founded and edited by Dr. Johnson himself. Preface to the dictionary, very significant. Lot of essays of the Rambler, preface to Shakespeare, the lives of the poets are works which contain the best in the literary criticism of the great iconic author, no other than Dr. Samuel Johnson. Now we will study something about his monumental work, that is Lives of the Poets. As we all know that Dr. Johnson has been a great force in the field of biographical criticism. What is biographical criticism? अब याद करिए, मैंने आपको फर्स्ट डे समझाया था टाइप्स ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म में. ये वो क्रिटिसिज्म होता है which seeks to evaluate the work of a writer. एक राइटर के वर्क को हम evaluate करते हैं in the light of the certain facts of his own life, and undoubtedly and undisputedly Dr. Samuel Johnson is one of the great biographers of the time, and his name and fame can actually rest on his Lives of the Poets, which has been the most popular book in English language. This book is actually a book which has its permanent value, and no work can actually equal the Lives of the Poets. And the immense success with this work as a biographer, a great monument, a great landmark in the history of English literature, due to which a lot of popularity and success, this memorable work, planning, initiation, all done by Dr. Johnson. Clear? So we can say that Dr. Johnson's criticism of poetry is marred, कम हो जाती है, by his own prejudices, by his personal dogmatism, and as we all know that human beings are always interested in music, in imagination, and music and imagination has always been one of the most essential qualities of any poetry, and it is also true that Dr. Johnson had no ear, and hence he had no imagination. If we take the opinion of Dr. Johnson for Milton's Lycidas, so he has the opinion for Lycidas that it is easy, vulgar and disgusting. मिल्टन के लिसिडस के लिए उसने लिखा है It is easy, vulgar and disgusting. और मिल्टन की जो मास्क है कॉमस, उसमें कुछ सॉन्ग्स हैं. उन सॉन्ग्स के लिए डॉक्टर जॉनसन ने कहा है, they are harsh in their diction and not very musical in their numbers. He has always been critical for the intensity of John Donne and even for the elevation of Gray, Thomas Gray. So, a study of his work, The Lives of the Poets, actually gives us his critical position and what was his aim. His aim was to reintroduce sincerity into literature so that it may become moving and to get rid of the artificial ornaments and far-fetched themes. The poetry of the 18th century was encrusted with a dead mythology, which Dr. Johnson opposed it and thus delivered poetry. He wanted to wed poetry to life and use it for moral teaching. Similarly, The Lives of the Poets explains why he disliked the blank verse and why he advocated the use of the rhymed couplet. The reason was he was a classic, but he never followed rules slavishly. There are instances which are numerous where he has supported the spontaneous use of English poetry. It is also true that he might have lacked imagination and aesthetic sensibility, but in his work, The Lives of the Poets, it reminds us again and again that poetry is as much craft as inspiration. He focuses attention on the linguistic achievements of the poet like Dryden and Pope. Then, so I'm sure this would help you to have created a sense of interest in literary criticism. Sometimes the students feel very less energetic in taking this section, this unit of literary criticism, though it is very, very time taking, and once you go into the deep of it, you will like to it. जैसे आप कभी पढ़िए लॉन्जाइनस की ऑन द सबलाइम, जिसमें लॉन्जाइनस ने अपने ऑन द सबलाइम में कहा है, अ थिंग विच प्लीजेस ऑल एंड प्लीजेस ऑलवेज. वो चीज जो हमें प्लीज करे और हमेशा प्लीज करे, उसको कहते हैं सबलाइम, अ वर्क ऑफ सब्लिमिटी. जैसे कहते हैं मिल्टन की पोइट्री, इट इज हिज पोइट्री इज सबलाइम. सबलाइम का मतलब वो कभी भी बोर नहीं करती, कभी it is like something which has become a monument in itself. The grandeur, the majesty, the sublimity, the sonority, the seriousness, the classical allusions, the similes, all these words are used when we describe Milton. In the same way, all these words from time to time can be used by the great classical authors, classical writers, due to which they have reached that level of sublimity, that level of grandeur, that level of popularity, and that level of fame. So, students, ये जो मैंने आज आपको कराया, दो पहलू, दो चैप्टर्स, इसको आप लोग अच्छे से रिवाइज करिएगा. और अभी हम समझते हैं कि कुछ दिन तक मैं इसको और लूंगा। लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म के और भी बहुत सारे पहलू हैं, बहुत सारे चैप्टर्स हैं, तो मैं ये देखूंगा कि कौन कौन सा मोर इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे सब कुछ पढ़ाना तो पॉसिबल नहीं है, बट स्टिल आई विल ट्राई टू मेक इट आउट दैट मैक्सिमम इम्पोर्टेंट यूनिट्स आर कवर्ड, सो दैट जब आपको प्रॉपर पढ़ने का मौका मिले तो आप उसको कवर कर सकते हैं। एंड इफ देयर आर एनी क्वेश्चंस यू कैन आस्क मी, एंड just wait for the next test series batch to start, and I am sure you would be, all of you would be loving to get so many questions which are maybe new to you, maybe the framing of the questions are good, and always remember one thing which I will again repeat, UGC नेट का एग्जाम केवल और केवल मेहनत से नहीं क्वालिफाई होता, ये क्वालिफाई होता है बहुत सारे टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस पे, जिसमें सबसे बड़ा जो टर्म एंड कंडीशन है कि जो आपकी पेरिफेरी ऑफ नॉलेज है वो बहुत ब्रॉड हो जाए इन डिफरेंट स्फीयर्स ऑफ लिटरेचर, एंड दिस विल हैपन once you are going through different sectors of the things which I am giving to you. It is an eye opener. और क्या होता है कि जब आप स्पेक्टिकल, जो एरिस्टोटल ने कहा है कि जब हम देखते हैं कोई चीजों को, सुनते हैं, उसका इफेक्ट हमारे सबकॉन्शियस में सिर्फ पढ़ने से 10 टाइम्स ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है। और यही रीजन है कि जो ये टेस्ट सीरीज बैच हम करा रहे हैं, आप देखिएगा निश्चित रूप से many students will qualify with the help of this test series only. क्यों? क्योंकि आप हजारों क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू जब जा रहे हैं तो you are going to get certain percentage of that questions correct in your original question paper when you are going to attempt it, and then your mind will be burning how to segregate the options. तब आपको ये टेस्ट सीरीज, ये नॉलेज, ये क्लासेस, ये स्टडी मटेरियल, ये सारी चीजें आपको दिखने लगेंगी, and then you will certainly come to a point where you will put the right option. बस दिमाग खुला रखिएगा और उस समय, उस पीरियड में बिल्कुल भी कहीं और ध्यान नहीं होना चाहिए। Okay students, so goodbye, meet you again on the test series, and after completing the test series बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हमको मैसेज नहीं करते हैं रिगार्डिंग देयर स्कोर, तो ये मेरे ख्याल से ये एक सिस्टम को जो मैंने बनाया है वो आप उसको फॉलो नहीं कर रहे हैं बेटा, तो ऐसा मत करिएगा। जो भी हमारी आवाजें सुन रहे हैं वो कम से कम इतना तो करें कि सर इतनी मेहनत कर रहे हैं तो सर को अपना स्कोर तो बता दें कम से कम। ओके स्टूडेंट्स, देन टेक केयर।